So it's 2021, fresh off of Pokemon's first ever DLC, and you're excited to see what the next Pokemon game will be. A remake, a Platinum remake? That would be amazing. So the Pokemon Present starts, and you're so excited to see what's gonna happen. Waiting the arrival of some news, Diamond and Pearl news, and you see the years go down. You see it reach 2006, the year Diamond and Pearl released. You start seeing the little sprites, and then this. I still find it interesting that basically everyone who watched this trailer had the exact same reaction. Because back when I was watching it, I wasn't like super invested in like, oh, a Diamond and Pearl remake, whatever. But I knew a lot of people wanted it, so I was sort of excited for them when I saw 2006. I'm like, oh, Diamond and Pearl for them. That's amazing. And then I saw that, and I also had basically the same reaction, just a confused face, like everyone did. That was just because it took a very different route than what was expected. And the game was first met with a lot of criticism, a lot of constructive criticism actually, saying that the characters didn't have outlines, it just didn't look good against the background. Like I remember Barry's hair was especially focused, and that some of the choices with like the hands being too big. And I'm honestly very impressed that it wasn't just, oh, it's chibi so it's bad. But at the end of the day, as long as all of these problems were still present, people were not excited, especially because of it being a faithful remake, grid-based and just different with all these weird graphical choices were boarding people away. I mean, the only hope people were holding on to at this point was that it maybe could, number one, improve, right? The gameplay footage isn't final, and that maybe it could have some platinum content, as at least in the post game or something, right? And then there was this silence, and sort of Legends Arceus hype started to build a bit more, but Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was still sort of just left in the dust. And even when I'm saying with Legends Arceus, it's not like people were really that excited for it either, given how concept-y it looked in the first trailer as well. But then something changed. As we were getting closer to the August Direct, Nintendo decided to make a new model for their Switch, the OLED. And in that trailer, they revealed something interesting. They showed someone playing Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl on it, and what was most noticed is that the graphics looked very different, and many improvements were made to the animations and such, and characters started to stand out from the background, and a lot more was done to make the game look a lot better. And this initially led to a lot of excitement. Okay, not a lot of excitement, some excitement. Like some people were actually pretty excited for the game. Like it looked nice, right? So there was excitement built. So I would even argue maybe that it's possible people were even more hyped for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl more than Legends Arceus at this point, because again, there wasn't really much known about Legends Arceus yet. But then when Legends Arceus and Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl got their time in the spotlight in the Pokemon Presents, things changed big time. They were sort of met with pretty equal excitement. I'm just going off of how I felt watching the sort of like online space at the time. Perhaps I misread it. This is just what I took from it at the time. I would say with the Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl trailer, they really did a really good job in marketing it, because I don't know like how they were able to make it seem so exciting. And with the Grand Underground, it was definitely something that a lot of people were interested in and were excited for at least something new. But at the same time, people were still really hoping Platinum would get time to shine in the games and like be at the very least a post game. Even a DLC would have made people happy. That's like people were just hoping that Platinum gets its way in there somehow, and it was something that people were just sort of just like clinging on to. And then when the game finally released, that excitement that was building up, that slow excitement that was steadily creeping its way onto the surface, completely dropped, and the talk about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl just left before like in a week. So while I'm not too sure exactly what happened, I think I can guess that it was probably the bugs and it just being pretty janky as a whole that left people with a lot of disappointment. And when Legends Arceus finally came out, a lot of people did not like that they spent $60 on it. And ever since then, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl have not really been spoken of ever since. And quite honestly, I think it's a bit of a shame, because I think that they were good games for what they were meant to be. I don't really think they were trying to go for the remake route with them. I think they were trying to go for the remaster route, even though it was sort of marketed poorly. I sort of just look at it that way, and I feel like it exists, but it's not like it really took up a spot of anything else. If not for that, then we just wouldn't have gotten anything else other than Legends Arceus, which I think was really meant to take the role of the remake. And I feel like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was really just meant to satisfy those who wanted to, go back to Diamond and Pearl like on the Switch and whatever. So I think that for the role it had, it served its purpose. Maybe not to the best it could have, but I think it did. And I feel like for the real remake experience, they went for Legends Arceus. And personally, I'm actually happy it happened that way, because if we just got a Diamond and Pearl remake, it probably would have been styled like Sword and Shield and not like Legends Arceus. And in the end, a lot of people's new favorite game, Legends Arceus, would have not been made, and people would have basically just played played the exact same game, Diamond and Pearl, which like probably still wouldn't have had Platinum, with like, I don't know, maybe Dynamax and just taller stuff. Like everything would just be bigger, like scaled up, because it's sort of just how the remake would go, I guess. Graphics of the DS era were already good enough that like there wasn't really anything that was getting missed out upon, meaning if you want to really bring that to a whole new light, it would sort of have to be in like a Scarlet and Violet Legends Arceus type of style, where you can move the camera and everything, because that would really be the only way to improve what was already done before. Otherwise, it would basically just be an upscaling remaster, which is exactly what Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl did, just in a bit more of a port type of way. Meaning, personally, I'm happy with its existence. I think, again, it served its purpose. Legends Arceus was meant to serve that remake prequel technically type of role, and love to hear what you guys think about it. Do you think that was the best choice, or do you think that you would have been more satisfied with a normal remake or any other type of scenario? Please let me know. And if you want to hear why Legends Arceus is a good game, click on this video and have a wonderful day.